Catholic High, Prelim 2023 for P6. This is for paper 2. Question 1. The square grid shows the position of points A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. So for part A, Madeline walked directly from point E to point A in a straight line. In which direction did Madeline walk from point E? Now, if you look at a compass, right? North is at the top, and then maybe you can label down the other 3 points, the other 3 directions. This is the south, this is west, this is east. So from E to A, and so take note of the direction, it's from E to A, not from A to E. So it cuts through all the squares diagonally like that, right? So this direction will be southeast. The answer here will be southeast. Next, for B, Natalie stood at one of the points facing point G. After she turned 45 degrees clockwise, she faced C. So which point was she at before she turned? Okay, so if she's standing at a certain point facing G, and then after she turned clockwise, 45 degrees clockwise, she faced C. So facing G and then turn to face C, and 45 degrees means that she's at D, point D. Right, so if you're facing G and then later on you're facing C, right, this angle here is 45 degrees, half of a right angle. So answer is point D. Okay, next, 2. 30 pupils were each assigned to fold an equal number of paper hearts for a charity drive. 3 of them were unwell and did not fold any paper hearts. The remaining pupils had to fold additional 5 paper hearts each. How many paper hearts did each pupil had to fold at first? So firstly, there were 30 of them, but 3 of them were unwell. So the rest of them, the remaining number of pupils, which is 30 minus 3, 27. Each of them had to fold additional 5. So 27 times 5. This is the extra that they need to fold. And where did this extra come from? Why did they have to fold extra? Because of the 3 that were unwell, right? So this 135 actually originally came from the 3. So if 3 pupils had to fold 135 at first, then what is 1 pupil supposed to fold at first? So 135 divided by 3. So answer 45, this is what we're looking for. Number of paper hearts each pupil had to fold at first. Okay, question 3. Zack had 80 more guppies than Ken at first. Ken gave 24 of his guppies to Zack. Zack then had 3 times as many guppies as Ken. How many guppies did Zack have at first? Okay, so the question starts off with difference. I'm going to draw a model. Maybe not make it look like half. This is 80 more. Then Ken gave 24. To Zack. In the end, Zack had 3 times. So this is 3 units. And this is 1. So what we can find is this portion here, where the 1 unit ends all the way to where the 3 unit ends. And that is 2 units. Okay, so to find 2 units, look at the model carefully. It's actually 24 plus 80 plus another 24. Okay, so the mistake here is that students may just write 80 plus 24, which is not the case. There's another 24 in front here. This is 128. So 1 unit is 64. Read the question. You want to find Z at first. Z at first is 3 units, but without the 24. So let's find 3 units first. $192, then 192 plus, minus 24. Because you need to take away the 24 that Ken gave to him. So answer 168. Question 4. Forrest bought 3K boxes of chocolates. Each box contained 8 chocolates. After eating 2 boxes of chocolates, he had 200 left. What is the value of K? All right, so first, he had 3K boxes, and each of them has 8. So he finished eating 2 boxes, right? Let's find out this in terms of number of boxes. Since K is the number of boxes, let's find out how many boxes were left. So if you have 200 chocolates left, right, and they were being packed into boxes of 8, the number of boxes in the end, the number of boxes left is 200 divided by 8. Okay, so I'm using in terms of number of boxes because this K is referring to the number of boxes. So this will give us 25. So after eating 2 boxes, he had 25 boxes left. So number of boxes at first will be 25 plus the 2 that he ate. So 27. So this 3K is actually 27. So to find K, we will take 27 divided by 3. 9. So answer K is 9. Question 5. White tiles and black tiles are used to form the figures that follow a pattern. The first 3 figures are shown below. So how many white squares are used to form figure 30? Now, if you realize that the number of white squares, right, if you ignore the black squares and you combine them, basically the white squares for the first one will look like that, right? If you join them, remove the black and connect the white. Then this, you remove the black, connect the white, you get a rectangle 2 by 3. So you remove the black, shift this part here to the left, combine it to these 3. So it will look something like that. Then you remove these black squares and then you combine the white ones. It will look like 3 by 4. It will look like that when you combine the white ones together. Okay, 4 squares tall and 3 squares wide. So if you notice, this is actually 1 times 2. This is 2 times 3. This is 3 times 4. So it's always bigger number times the next number. So the number of white will be 30 times 31. Okay, so the other method is you find the total number of squares and then minus off the black ones. The black ones is always one greater than the figure number. And the number of squares will be like example figure 3 is 4 times 4. 4 times 4 minus 4. This figure 2 will be 3 times 3 minus 3. So the other way for figure 30 will be 31 times 31 minus 31. Okay, you still get 930. So it depends on what you are able to visualize. Question 6. At first, Nathan had $92 and Mabel had 50. Each of them bought a book at the same price. The ratio of the amount of money Nathan and Mabel had left was 5:2. How much did the book cost? Okay, let's record down the data. Nathan has $92 at first. Mabel, $50. They bought a book at the same price, so minus question mark. And then Nathan to Mabel, what they had left is 5:2. What is a common base? What remains unchanged? So if they spend the same amount of money, if you have two groups, and you are taking away the same amount, it is the difference that doesn't change. So what is the difference? It'll be $92 minus $50. $42. So in terms of units, the difference is 3 units. So then 3 units is 42. 1 unit is 42 divided by 3. 14. What are we finding? How much did the book cost? Now you can either find Nathan or Mabel. They both bought the book at the same price anyway. So let's use Mabel, 2 units. So 2 units is 28. Now Mabel had $28 left. She had $50 initially. So how much did the book cost? How much did she spend on the book? So 50 minus 28. Answer 22. Okay, so the book cost $22. Next, question 7. A, B, C, D is a rhombus, and then you have a square, D, E, F, G. Find the angle F, H, D. Okay, this angle over here. Now, this is a rhombus and a square. You have all the sides that are the same. Okay, let's just label them first. Not just equal sides, but also parallel sides. And with parallel lines, you can actually apply a few different angle properties. Okay, so first I want to find this. If you know that this angle GDE, okay, so one way to find this is to find angle GDE. Then I can use 180 degrees minus away GDE to find this. Then I also know that in a rhombus, I have opposite angles are the same. So CDE is 75. Now, if I were to take 360 minus of 75 and minus of 260, I'll end up with this angle here. Okay, so let's find this angle. HDE, angle HDE. $360 minus $260 minus 75, which will give us 25. So this angle here is 25. So remember earlier I said that if you want to find this angle, you can actually use this angle to help you find using interior angles, which is the sum of two angles within the parallel lines are, they add up to 180. So let's find this one. So to find here, square is 90 degrees here, right? So we take 90 degrees minus 25 degrees, and you get this. That is GDH. This is 65. So the last step to find FHD is 180 minus 65 degrees. So this is 115. Alternatively, I mean, this is not the only way, but how else can you find angle FHD? You can also say that this is 90. And then you can find this angle here. So angle DHE, which is 180 minus 90 minus 25. You get 65, and then angle FHD, which is angles on a straight line, 180 minus 65. Okay, so this is the one in blue is an alternative solution. Or you can also say that this is 65, so alternate angles means that this is also 65. All right, usually there's a few ways to get the answer, as long as you apply the properties correctly. All right, now let's look at question 8. At a walkathon, each participant from group A and B completed either 2 km route, 5 km route, or 10 km route. Pie chart shows the number of participants for each route in the two groups. Group A had twice as many participants as Group B. So what is the ratio of the number of participants who completed the 10 km route in A to that of B? Give your answer in the simplest form. So first, since the total in A is twice of B, let's write now A to B, 2 to 1. Now in terms of the 10 km route, right, for A, so A, 10 km, to the total of A is 90 degrees, so it's actually a quarter. 1, the whole thing is 4 units. For B, B is in percentage. So 20% is 20 out of 100, which is 1 to 5. Now let's find the common base. The common base is the total of A. So the total of A here, 4 units. Here, I have to change the 4 units. Then next, the total for B. The total for B here is 2 units, but the total for B here is 5 units. You got to change them to the same number of units. So we change it to 10. So times 5. Then here is, oops. We change it to 10 as well by multiplying by 2. 10, 10. Now, the problem here, rather the problem now is that the A, right, originally is supposed to be 4 units, but it became 20. So I have to change this one as well. Okay, so now that your common base are all the same, I can compare across the ratios. What is the ratio of those who completed the 10 km route in A to that of B? So I can say it's 5 to 2. So 10 km for A to 10 km for B is 5 to 2. Part B, the total number of participants in group A and B is 150. How many kilometers did all the participants in group B walk in total at the walkathon? All right, so first I have 150, which is the total. I need to find how many people are there in B before I can find the distance that they covered. So you can technically ignore all the other ratios. So if I look at this only, right, I can use 20 and 10, or I can use 2 to 1. Because I'm not comparing with I'm not using the other two ratios anymore for part B. So let's say I'm back to 2 to 1, right? So 3 units is 150. One unit is 50. So for B itself, there are actually 50 people. So what I need to do now is to find the proportion of people for each group. So to find 48%, okay, so 48% will be 48 over 100 times 50, which is 24. Then let's find 20%. So 20 over 100 times 50, which is a 10. Then the rest of them will be 50, the total, minus 24 minus 10, which is 16. So for the 48%, it's a 5 km route. So there are 24 people taking the 5 km route. So that's 24 times 5 km. Then we have 20%, the 10 people, that is the 10 km route. 10 people, 10 km route. 100 km. And then lastly, the 16 people will be taking the 2 km route. So 16 times 2 km. So total distance, you have to add them up. 252. So answer 252 km. That's the total. Question 9. AEF and CEF are isosceles triangles. AE, okay, let's label the equal sides. AE equals to EF. So if you just look at the triangle, it's a bit hard to tell which two are equal. So you have to be careful with the question. It's AE and EF. Don't be tricked. And then this is also the same. Find AFB. So firstly, isosceles triangle here, 27 degrees. Next, okay, if I want to find this angle here, right, it's important that I use this isosceles triangle. And then by taking away this angle, I can actually find this whole thing. And then I minus 27 from there. Okay, so to find this AFE here, right, I need to find AEF. So how do I find AEF? Now, look at triangle FBE. I need to find FBE, angle FBE, before I find AEF. FBE. So angles on a straight line, 180 minus 85. This will give us 95 degrees. So angle AEF will be 180 minus 27 and 95. So this here is 58 degrees. Now I can use the isosceles triangle AEF to help me find angle AFE. Angle AFE will be 180 minus 58 first. Then divide by 2. So 61 degrees. AFE is 61. So to find what we want, which is AFB, we have to take 61 minus 27. Which is 34 degrees. So angle AFB is 34 degrees. Question 10, this is a speed question. Maverick and Nathan started jogging from the start point of a 3 km track at the same time and in the same direction. After jogging for 15 minutes, Nathan was 825 km ahead of Maverick. Both did not change their speeds throughout. Maverick took 24 minutes to reach the end point of the track. What was Nathan's jogging speed in meters per minute? So this is the 3 km track. Maverick and Nathan started jogging from the start point, and we know that Nathan is actually faster than Maverick because after jogging for 15 minutes, Nathan was ahead. So let's say Maverick is here. Maybe he jogged until this point here. So after 15 minutes, Nathan would have been ahead by 825 meters. This is Nathan. Okay, so at this point here, right, we know that Maverick and Nathan have not reached the end yet, but in the question they said that Maverick is going to take 24 minutes to reach the end point of the track. So 24 minutes is the total time taken. So technically, I can actually find the speed of Maverick first. 24 minutes to cover 3 km. 3 km change to meters, okay? Because since we're using meter per minute, so there's 3,000 meters. So to find speed is distance divided by time. So the distance that he can cover is 3,000 meters. Then divide by the time taken, which is 24 minutes according to the questions. This is 125 meter per minute. Okay, that's for Maverick. But what about Nathan? Now, Nathan is able to cover extra 825 meters in 15 minutes. So what is the difference in distance? Okay, the difference in distance in 15 minutes is 825, right? But what about 1 minute? So the difference in distance, if we are just talking about 1 minute, it will be 825 divided by 15. Okay, because 825 is the difference in 15 minutes. So to find 1 minute, we divide by 15, which is 55 meters. So Nathan is able to cover extra 55 meters for every minute Then so we have Maverick's distance in every minute, right? You just take that and add 55 in order to find speed of Nathan. So 125 plus 55. This is the speed of Nathan. So remember to write your units is meter per minute. Question number 11. At the start of a 5-day sale, two shops, shop A and B, had 100 identical laptops each. The graphs below show the total number of laptops left unsold for each shop at the end of each day. Okay, so they didn't tell us like how many they sell, but instead they told us how many is left from the graph. So on which day did shop A sell fewer laptops than shop B? Now we're going to, they both started off with 100, right? We're going to find out how many is left for each day first. Okay, so let's read off the graph. 0 to 25 intervals means that 20 divided by 5, every interval is a plus 4. So here, this one will be, or you can take 80 minus 4. So day 1, you should have 76, 52, 28, 12, 4. This is 84, 68, 48, 4, and 4. So which day did A sell fewer than B? So which day did B sell more than A? Now, in order to record in order to indicate that there's a lot of sales on that day, right? It means that the drop in the graph will be the greatest. Okay, because if the drop in the graph is the greatest, so if you compare the two graphs, actually this drop is the greatest, right? It means that the number will drop drastically. Okay, it will drop by a lot. So here, it actually dropped by 44. So if you compare the other numbers, right, the drop, or you look at the graph, the drop isn't that great. This gradient is the greatest. Like this drop is the greatest, the steepest. So we can say that this shop B actually sold more on day 4 than shop A. Because A, how many did A sell on day 4? By the end of day 3, 28. So drop to 12 is 16. 16, right? But here is, okay, so here is minus 16, which means they sold 16, whereas here is minus 44. So on day 4, A sold fewer than shop B. Okay, so answer day 4. So actually you can just look at the graph, and the steepness of the drop is an indicator, or it's to show like that they have actually sold a lot on that day. Now for B, after the 5-day sale, a customer paid $4,600 for the remaining laptops in shop A at a discount of $50 for every $300 spent. How much would the customer be paying for the remaining laptops without the discount? So if you spend $300, you save $500. So by doing so, every 300 you are supposed to pay, right? You get a discount of 50. So actually, essentially, you're actually paying $250. So since the customer paid $4,600, right? Let's find out how many groups of this are there. So 4,600 divided by 250, you'll get 18. With remainder 100. So this 100, no discount. Because $100, you don't get to save anything. You must hit 300 and you can save. So there's actually 18 groups of this, which means that the amount saved is 18 times $50. Saved. 18 groups of $50. 900. So if the customer saved 900, right, then the original price should have been $900 more. So we take 4,600 plus 900. So $5,500 is the amount that the customer would have to pay if there's no discount. All right, let's look at question 12. Shanti cut a square piece of paper ABCD along the dotted lines as shown in figure 1 to get one small square of area 225. No, to get one small square of area 225 and 8 identical right-angled triangles. She removed 4 such triangles, these 4 shaded parts, and placed them together to form a rectangle as shown. So A, the perimeter of the square ABCD is 56 cm longer than the perimeter of the rectangle PQRS. What is the length of QR? So basically, what is the height of this small triangle? Okay, so in figure 1, you have a big square. It's being cut up into 8 triangles, and this small little square, area 225. So 225 is referring to this tiny little square here. Okay, so let's look at perimeter first. ABCD perimeter is 56, longer than the perimeter of PQRS. Now let's compare and see what is the difference between the perimeter of the first one and the second one. So I'm going to, you see the perimeter is made up of, for each triangle, it's made up of like the height and the base. Let's call it the length and the breadth. L and B, okay? So L, this is B. So B here, L, B, L, B, L. For the other figure here, we also name it in terms of B and L. This is B, B, L, L, and B and B. So 2B. Okay, 2B. That's right, yes, 2B. Okay, now we compare. In the first one, figure 1, perimeter, we have 4 L's and 4 B's. In figure 2, we have 2 L's and 4 B's. Compare, the difference is actually 2L. Okay, so 2L is 56. Since they said that the difference is 56, then to find 1L, 56 divided by 2, which is 28. Okay, and this is what we actually need to find, QR. QR is 1L. So answer 28 cm. Next, what is the area of square paper ABCD? So we are finding the area of this whole thing. to find the area of whole thing, you can actually find the area of the parts and then add them up. Or you could figure out what is your L's and B's. Then just take side times side. So we already have the L, but we don't have the B. And we have the area of the square, right? 225. So to find one side of the square, we'll take 225, square root of 225. Because why do I want to do that? Because if I can, so if I know this, right? I mean, I do know that, and I take away this, I am technically finding a B, 1B. Okay, so let's find square root of 225. Which is 15. So this is 15. And your L is 28. So your B will be 28 minus 15. Which is 13. And now one side of the square is L plus B. So 28 plus 13. (41). So since we have one side of the square, you can find area of the square, which is 41 times 41. So 1681 square cm. All right, next question, 13. Abel, Ben, and Chris had 448 tarts altogether. Abel gave 1/7 of his tarts to Ben and 2/5 of his tarts to Chris. After that, the ratio of the number of tarts Abel had to Ben to Chris was 4:3:9. What fraction of his tarts did Abel have left after giving some to Ben and Chris? So take note in this question that we don't have the we only have the total at first. We don't have each of them at first. And also Abel gave 1/7 to Ben and 2/5 to Chris. It is not 1/7 to Ben first and then 2/5 of his remainder. No, is you can imagine the giving part, right, as happening simultaneously, happening together. So 1/7 and 2/5 will be part of the total. You have to, this is the one where you change denominator to the same. Or you can just take 1 whole minus 1/7 minus 2/5. Then you change the denominator to the same. Okay? But since this is paper 2, you can just use your calculator. Okay, so if you change your denominator to the same number, this is what you get. And you end up with 16 out of 35. This is the fraction that is left for Abel. Okay, next. How many more tarts did Chris have than Ben at first? Now we're going to use all the other info that we have. So starting with 448, let's do a before change after. Right, now there is a change for Abel give 1/7 to Ben. Now, you know, earlier on, right, we actually found that 1/7 is actually 5 units, 5 out of 35. And then this is actually 14 out of 35. So in terms of units, okay, since this is happening all at once, right? Let's do all together. A minus 5 minus 14 units. B received 5 units. And C received 14 units. And that's from the fraction earlier. And they would end up with 4 to 3 to 9. Now the total, take note that earlier on, right? We said that the total for A is actually 16 units left. So what I want to do is to change A to 16 in the end. Okay, so over here in part A, I already know that it's 16 out of 35 left. So A is 16 units because of this. So I change to this. Because all these units are, all these units came from out of 35, right? So it has to be the same comparison units. So this becomes 12. And this is 27. How many more times did Chris have than at first? So let's work backwards. The number of units that B have at first will be 12 units minus 5 units. Minus because we are going backwards. If you go forward, it's at plus 5. But if you go backwards, it's minus 5. So 12 units minus 5. Then C at first. (27 units minus 14. Sorry, plus. No. I made an error here. Oops. It is not 27. This is 36. So 36 units minus 14, which is 22 units. So since we want to find the difference, right? We compare and find the difference, which is 15 units between B and C at first. Now, what is 448? 448 units is the total of all of these. All these are internal transfer, so the total number of units in the end is actually the same total as at first. So 16, 12, and 36. This will give us 64 units. So 64U is 448. One unit will be 7. Then remember we're going to find the difference. The difference is 15 units. So let's find 15 units. So 15 times 7, 105. Okay, so answer 105. Question 14. A big circle and a small circle with center O are drawn and each circle is divided into 4 quarters as shown. AOB measures 28 cm. So the diameter of the big one is 28. Diameter of the big circle is 8 cm longer than the small circle. What is the area of the shaded part? Now, if you were to turn this thing, right, since it's all like this is 1/4 and this is 1/4. If you turn this thing, this 1/4, the smaller one would match this part here. And it's actually 1/4 of the big circle. To find area of the circle, you need radius. So radius of big circle, 28 divided by 2. Then we take 1/4 times pi, 3.14, times radius, 153.86 square cm. What is the perimeter of the shaded part? Okay, the easy parts are the straight lines, which is this, and this. Can you tell that they actually add up to 2 radiuses actually? So this and this gives you 14. And then this and this gives you another 14. So the straight lines basically give you 28. So the straight lines is actually 14 times 2, 28. Now, the next thing I want is the arc of a quarter circle here. Pi times diameter is the circumference of a circle. So the arc of a quarter circle is 1/4 times pi times diameter. Okay, so 1/4 times pi times the diameter. 21.98. The green one is 21.98. Okay, what's left? You are left with this part here, as well as this part here. And they actually add up to the arc of a quarter circle, of the smaller quarter circle. And what's the diameter though? Because we need the diameter to find the arc. So they said that the diameter of the big one is 8 cm longer than the small one. So the diameter of the small circle is the diameter of the big one, 28, minus of 8. Okay, which is 20. Now I'll just use 1/4 times pi times 20, which is 15.7. Now add them up. We add this, and we add this. So straight lines plus 21.98, then plus 15.7. 65.68 cm. Perimeter, so cm. Okay. So I've highlighted every side of it, so I know that I have found the total perimeter. Okay, question 15. P and Q are two rectangular containers. At first, P contain water up to the height of 18.5 cm, while Q is up to 2 cm. Volume of water in P is 1480. What was the base area of container P? Now to find base area, you just take volume, divide by height. The volume divide by the height. Since it's base area, square cm. B, Vera poured some water from P into Q without spilling. After that, the height of water level of P was the same as Q. What was the new height of the water level in Q, which is the same as P? Okay, so for this, let's find out what is the total volume of water that we have. We already know the amount in P, right? Let's find the amount in Q first. volume of water in Q. 49.2. So 720. Now the total volume of water will be 1480 plus 720. 2200. Okay, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to draw this table. I have P, I have Q. We need to compare base area, height as in the water level, and then the volume. This is a bit like a quantity value, total value table. So for the base area, now I cannot take this volume and divide by 2, although the height is the same. Why is that so? Because the base area is different, right? So even if the water level is the same, it doesn't mean that the volume is the same. So what is the base area? Base area of A is 80, as we have found. Base area of Q is 40 times 9. 80, 40 times 9, 360. Now, when we talk about the height, we're talking about after transferring what is the water level. They say it's the same. So if it's the same, we use 1, 1. Then the volume is base area times height. So 80, base area times height, 360. Now, this whole thing is what we call one group. Okay, one group. So in one group, what is the total volume of water? Because I know the total volume is supposed to be 2200. So in one group, my total volume is 80 plus 360. So 440. Now, number of groups. So this is a grouping concept. We'll take the total volume, divide by the total in just one group, and you find that you actually have 5 groups. What is the new height? If every group, the height is 1, then there are 5 groups, right? So like 5 times of that 1. 5 times of the 1 cm. If every group is 1 cm, then 5 groups will be 5 cm. Okay, Andrew had a collection of gold, silver, and bronze stars. He had 100 gold stars. 30% of his collection was silver stars. He had 12 more bronze stars than silver stars. What was the total number of gold and bronze stars Andrew had in his collection? Okay, so first, 100 gold stars. And between the bronze and silver, there's actually 12 more bronze than silver. Gold, silver, bronze. Silver, bronze. 12 more. Okay, then they said that 30% is silver, right? So this will be 30%. So the bottom one, bronze is actually 30% plus 12. So remember, put percentage sign. It's not 30 plus 12. It's 30% plus 12. So if you have 30%, 30% here, right? Then the remaining percentage will be made up of 100 plus 12. So 100%. minus 30% minus 30%, which is 40%. Now 40% is the remaining, so it's 100 plus the 12. 112. So we are looking for total number of gold and bronze. So in other words, we are actually finding, you can find 70%. Gold and bronze will be 70% because silver is 30%. So 1% is 112 divided by 40, which is 2.8. Then 70%, which is your gold plus bronze. 2.8 times 70. 196. B. Andrew's uncle gave him some silver stars. After that, 44% of his collection was silver stars. How many silver stars did Andrew receive from his uncle? Now, if you read this, right, take note that the silver changed, but the other two, the gold and the bronze, doesn't change. So we can start off with, let's find silver at first. Um, 30%. So 2.8 times 30, 84. So silver is 84. Gold plus bronze was 196. He received more silver. In the end, silver is 44%. The remaining 56, because 100 minus 44. The remaining 56% is gold and bronze. We're going to simplify this. Because the question gave us percentage, right? And in the first part, there's also percentage. So we will change it to ratio so that we don't get confused over the percentages. Okay. Now what doesn't change? Silver change, right? So your gold and bronze doesn't change. So this 196 is essentially your 14 units in the end. So divide by 14 to find 1 unit, which is 14. How many silver stars did Andrew receive? Find how many silver stars did Andrew have in the end. So 11 units. 154 compared to at first is 84. So he received 154 minus 84. 70 silver stars. Okay, next. Last question. Figure 1 shows a plate. Figure 2 shows 2 stacks of the identical plates. There are 3 plates in a shorter stack and 7 in a taller. Height of the shorter stack is 20. Height of the taller stack is 44. So find the height of a plate. Okay, so if you notice, right, this little portion here looks like a cup. This, let's call it the stand, okay, the stand, the portion of the stand is 6 cm. So if you look at this 20 cm, so do not be confused with this edge here. So you just look at the stand portion. This is 6, 6, 6. So what is this part here? So that's 6 times 3, which is 18. Then we take 20 minus 18. That's a 2. Okay, so here the height of one plate will be 6 plus 2. 8. Answer 8 cm. Okay, so the height of one plate is 8 cm. Now let's look at part B. So Matthew wants to pack the plates as a single stack into a box of 1 meter high. So figure 3 shows the two possible arrangement A and B. Which arrangement will allow Matthew to pack more plates? And then how many more? So let's compare arrangement A and arrangement B. For arrangement A, right, how many can you stack? So if you notice, it's all like 6, and so on all the way, right? But then for the very last plate, it's not just 6, right? But there is a little portion here. This is a 2, as what we have found earlier. So the number of plates will be 1 meter or 100 cm minus the 2 right at the top for the last one. And then you divide by 6. So for arrangement A, 100 cm, 1 meter is 100 cm, minus 2. Then every 6 represents 1 plate. So the number of plates will be 98 divided by 6, which is 16R2. Remainder 2 means there's not enough space to put in one more. So there will be some gap on top, a 2 cm gap on top. So 16 is the most you can put for arrangement A. Now for arrangement B, right, you're going to stack it this way. So this is 8, then another 8, another 8, and so on. So every plate is an 8. There is no overlapping. So for B, 100 cm, you just divide by 8. For which you'll also get a remainder of 4. So maximum 12 plates. So answer which arrangement will allow him to pack more? Of course, arrangement A, 16 versus 12, right? And how many more? So 16 minus 12. 4 more plates. So arrangement A and 4 more plates. Okay, so with that, that's the end of the Catholic High 2023 prelim paper.